All right, time now for Sid Sixero. This is where I get 60 seconds to talk about anything. Here we go. Quick story. Logan Mailloux is an 18-year-old defenseman who played in Sweden this past season. Now, during that year, he was charged after posting a sexual photo without consent. This was supposed to be his draft year. Last week, Mailloux asked all 32 teams not to draft him, citing maturity and character issues. Every team respected those wishes, except one, Montreal. They took him with the last pick of the first round. Things got messy. It's been a public relations disaster. Case in point, the clip we're about to run for you is an unedited exchange between Habs assistant GM Trevor Timmins and a member of the media. Take a look.
Regarding Logan, in his statement, he says that he thought that he did not earn the right to be drafted. Why? I mean, based on that, if the player thinks that, why do you think the opposite?
What do you mean? What do I think the opposite? Can you expand on that a little bit?
Silence was deafening, wasn't it? Donnovan Bennett of Sportsnet joining us. I think we had similar reactions there. I've seen the clip like 9 times. Donnovan, you got about 90 seconds. This was one of those stories. I want to back off. Go ahead. What do you think?
Well, clearly it was the first time he thought of the question, which I think is part of the problem. Let's center the young woman who was violated in the story, first and foremost. She was violated again Friday, having to be triggered by this and having no disrespect. Quite frankly, if you are a woman who works in that organization, if you're a fan of the team, if you're a fan of the NHL at large, in some way you were shown lack of respect with that decision. And what we heard from the team when they were answering was, well, he's 17 years old. He's willing. He understands. He's remorseful. Well, how do you know he's remorseful? You never spoke to the victim. Again, let's center around the victim in this case. Marc Bergevin used the word unacceptable 4 times in 12 minutes when talking about the decision, yet he made the decision to draft said player. So evidently it was acceptable. And they talked about often in answering the hockey side of this decision. This isn't about hockey. This is about hockey's toxic culture and really trying to remove some of these conversations from it. And so when you look at Marc Bergevin specifically in the Chicago Blackhawks organization, when they right now have a lawsuit over a sexual assault case on 2 of their own players, this is a GM that reportedly was interested in Slava Voinov, who was suspended indefinitely after pleading no contest for a misdemeanor and corporal injury. He's hired Sean Burke, who pled guilty to assaulting his wife. So evidently, there's clearly a pattern here where it is acceptable if the hockey side outweighs some of the other issues. And here's my real question on whether or not this type of behavior would have been, quote unquote, acceptable. This was Marc Bergevin's daughter, or Jeff Molson, the owner's daughter, or Gary Bettman, the commissioner's daughter. Would it just be a hockey decision at that point? Would it, for whatever reason, it be acceptable? There is no plan on how they're going to help this player, what organizations they've reached out for guidance, because that is not clearly a big enough issue. None of this is a big enough issue. They thought they were going to make the pick, answer some questions, and move on, and that's not how 2021 works.
Hitting it on the head as usual. Donnovan Bennett, love you from Sportsnet. Thanks for this, man. Appreciate you.
My pleasure.
He's good. All right, we're going to take a break. Coming up, you sound off. The question is pretty simple. Should businesses be given more guidance at this stage of the game regarding how to deal with vaccinated and non-vaccinated customers? Let us know. You sound off. Coming up, 1-866-267-3797. Feedback at breakfasttelevision.ca, at Breakfast TV on Twitter 24/7. You sound off. Next, it's 6:46. Good morning, Toronto. You're watching BT.